Hello friends, we'll take up some development policies today. We'll discuss some issues and what can be some solutions to address that. Issues related to different sectors. Now, this is under Gender Studies paper 2. GS paper 2, it has provision, government policies and intervention for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation. So, we'll take some issues, what having some policies in that field and what we can do to improve on. So, we'll start with the topic. First, before we enter into the topic, what do you understand by development? First question. And how development is brought about. What is the difference between growth and development? See, growth and development is seen, or many times they use interchangeably, but they have different meanings. Growth means it's a quantitative number. What is the increase in the amount of GDP or the gross national product GDP per capita? That is growth. Yes, there is a change in that. What about development? Development means whatever change has happened, it should impact everyone. Standard of living of the people should get benefited, should get improved. That is development. So for bringing about development, we have different kinds of schemes. And broadly, these schemes will fall into two categories. Government tries to address development through two ways. One way is development of infrastructure, physical infrastructure, and another way is human capital formation. You are building human capital. And for both these things, you have different kinds of policies. For example, for infrastructure, you will have policies like Sagamala project, Bharat Nirman project, multiple projects are there. And for improving human infrastructure, capital infrastructure, you have different schemes. Skill development schemes are there, healthcare policies are there, education policies are there. At the same time, some other public health related policies. For example, health sanitation. Sanitation is also an important part of public health. So sanitation policies. So different policies are there. Providing employment, increasing purchasing power for a person. That also leads to building of human capital. So in today's session, we will discuss some of the government policies, some of the policies which are quite frequent in the news. So we'll start with NREGA. NREGA is one of those schemes, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. It is one of those laws under which job is created, which has provision for creation of jobs. So this is one of the most important policies. It leads to creation of human capital. Now, what we'll do, we'll just understand what are some basic features of NREGA, what has been the impact of NREGA, what are the challenges of NREGA, how do we resolve the challenge. Similarly, we'll do it for National Rural Livelihood Mission. It is another scheme which is there to promote livelihood. So what are the objectives of that particular policy, of the mission, how they're going to go with it, what are the challenges, how do we resolve it. Similarly, we'll take up some more policies. We'll take up housing policy, sanitation policy, drinking water policy, urban transport policy, garbage management policy. So some policies which are quite frequent in the news and can be asked in the exam. So we'll start with NREGA. Now, what do we mean by NREGA? What are some features under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act? What is the objective? What are the principles on which it is based? Now, NREGA is based on certain principles. And as per NREGA, every year, a fixed number of days of work is provided to each family. This is applicable only in rural areas, Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Also, there is no above poverty line or below poverty line criteria. Anyone who wants to work can join. This is a basic feature of NREGA. You might have also heard about it, you might have also read about it. But what are the objectives on which it is based? NREGA has a bottom-up approach. It is people-centric, it is demand-driven, it is self-selecting, it is a right-based design. What do we mean by this? When we say it is a right-based design, that means NREGA ensures right to work. If an individual wants to work, he gets it. It is his right to get a job. So that is the meaning of right-based design. It is a self-selecting approach. What do we mean by self-selecting approach? An individual decides on his own. Okay, whether he wants to join this particular scheme or not. The scheme is not deciding who is the beneficiary. It is not saying if you are below poverty line, you will be able to get the job. Nothing like that. You decide whether you get a job or not. It is a demand-driven approach. Demand-driven approach means if a person wants to work, he has to be given a job. Previously, if there used to be a scheme, then people got a job. Now, if people want to work, they can demand from the government and they should get a job. It is a people-centric approach. At the heart of the scheme is people. You are trying to improve the livelihood of the people. You are giving them some money. At the same time, you are ensuring what kind of activity they are working, which will improve the life of the people. Development projects over there. At the same time, it is demand-driven. If I want to work, I get to work. It is a bottom-up approach. People at the bottom level, they are deciding how much work they want. Yeah, there is a cap. Beyond that, there will not be, but till some point of there is a capital and extent. But it is a bottom approach. People at the bottom level of the hierarchy, they decide. If they want to take a job, they are given a job. At the same time, they also decide which kind of development projects they are going to take it up. So these are some key principles of NREGA. They are quite progressive for the scheme. Now, what has been the impact of the scheme? NREGA has a reservation for women. It also has a reservation of SC employees. That means these many, if there are 100 employees, how many should be women, how many should be scheduled rate? So some reservation is there. So because of NREGA, the share of women and SC workers has increased. Not only has their share increased, but their wages have also increased. If wages are increasing, their bargaining power also increases. It has led to financial inclusion of people. How? All these NREGA salaries, they are financed, they're channelized to banks, post offices. So because of which, again, people started opening up their bank accounts, post office accounts. So it is leading to financial inclusion of people. Not only people are getting benefited directly, indirectly also there are benefits. Under NREGA, different development projects are taken up. People work on different development activities, and some projects like water harvesting has been taken up. So it improves the water security of that region. In some areas, people did not have work, and if they're not having work, how will they feed themselves, their family? So they have to migrate. So there was migration because of distress in the past. But because of NREGA, you know, at least these many days of work I'll get. So this distress migration has been restricted now. Purchasing power of people has increased. So this has been the positive outcome of NREGA, and it is inclusive. SC, women, they're getting the financial part of the benefit. But at the same time, NREGA has had some issues. There have been certain criticisms of NREGA. What have been the criticisms? The most important criticism is potential of NREGA as an instrument of rural transformation is yet to be realized. NREGA has certain objectives. We saw these objectives. These are the objectives we have to achieve in the future. But these objectives we have not yet achieved. And the present scenario that we have, who are we targeting the scheme towards? To the rural people. They're uneducated. They're not aware of many of these things. They're not aware of the provisions of the scheme. The approach that we're having is a bottom-up approach. It's a self-centered approach. All these provisions that are there, many times people are not aware of it. So since people are not aware of these principles, they are not able to achieve the actual objective of NREGA. Apart from that, this scheme is being implemented at a very large level. All over India, you're trying to implement it. So if you're implementing a scheme at such a scale, other problems also can creep in. For example, delaying payments. There can be fake beneficiaries, leakages are there. So it's not easy to implement schemes at such a large level. So because of the sheer scale of the program, sometimes it has become unviable. Some people have criticized that this is not a sustainable mechanism. This is not, you cannot have it for a very long time. You're just giving a subsidy to people. You're just giving a charity to people. And if you're giving charity to people, then what will happen? People will become dependent on that charity. And again, for how long you will be giving this charity? Charity also has its limits. So these are some main issues. Apart from that, there are issues when it comes to agriculture. We have seen one thing that because of NREGA, bargaining power of the workers has increased. So what is happening in this case? They're getting, the wages are increasing now because of NREGA, the bargaining power has increased. So they're not demanding greater wages for working in the agriculture sector. Many are not willing to work in the agriculture sector because they're already getting paid by NREGA. So agriculture might get impacted because it will not have sufficient laborers. So agriculture production and consequently food security of the country can get impacted. So that is a challenge here. So tightening of the labor market is happening. Availability of labor in agriculture is getting restricted. But again, this can be a positive as well. Moreover, there has been this, what global experience says is whenever the agriculture market gets tightened, that means when you do not have sufficient agricultural laborers in the market, what will happen is you're forced to go for mechanization. If you're going for mechanization, then the yields will be more, the productivity will be more. So this might be pointing towards the fact that we might be moving towards technological advances in agriculture. We might move towards a modern type of agriculture. Also another thing, since people are not willing to work in agriculture, that means they're no longer in distress. Maybe it is also pointing towards a positive trend that poverty is being reduced. Also, the different developmental works that are carried out as part of NREGA, for example, soil conservation measures, water harvesting measures, these things can improve the productivity of agriculture in the long run. And if productivity of agriculture is improved, it might so happen that it can attract people to agriculture because returns are more now. So both positives, negatives there, but this negative can hint towards certain positive. Also, one more thing, it has been observed that most of the NREGA work has been carried out during the non-agricultural season. Disproportionately high share of works are done during off-season agriculture. So again, it points to the fact that there may not necessarily be a conflict. So these are certain issues when it comes to NREGA and agriculture. Apart from that, There are some other issues. For example, it is said that the flexibility, what kind of projects workers can take up, that is not much, not many options there. They have to work on these kind of projects only. One very important, very significant criticism is the projects, the assets that you are creating, they're not doable. So again, you are just wasting money. You're not creating anything. The work quality is very bad. And one of the objectives of NREGA, one of the principles of NREGA was demand-driven work, not completely demand-driven. People are also not aware of these principles. Sometimes they also don't know that in case they don't get what they will get compensation, they will get pension from the government. Those kind of provisions they are not aware of. So not completely demand-driven. And it has mitigated distress migration to some extent, but complete prevention of distress migration has not happened. Now also some people migrate out of distress. So some of the issues still continue under NREGA. What can we do to improve on this? So multiple commentators, multiple economists, social scientists, they have given multiple theories how we can improve on it. So one suggestion, basically, we need to expand the list of works. People should have greater number of choices. What kind of work they should carry out? It's suggested that you should create one shelf of projects. And maybe at the central level, they can identify what is required for development, create a shelf of projects. At the local level, they can decide from which kind of project is more important for them. So more research and development, more research has to be done. What kind of projects are important and creating a list. Next, issues with the awareness. People are not aware of the provisions of NREGA. People are not aware of the principles on which NREGA is based. So it will not be successful if people participation, people's informed choice is not there. So we need to create systems by which we can generate awareness among the wage seekers. So people should understand that there has been a change now. Previously, if government had a scheme for work, then you will get work. Now, if you demand work, you should be given work. Jab kaam khulega tab kaam milega. That was the provision before. Now, jab kaam mangenge tab kaam milega. So people should be made aware of these things. How do we handle distress migration? People migrate out of distress because they do not have anything right now and they feel things will become worse in future. So better than waiting for the worst moment to come, they will migrate to some other area, hoping that they might get some job opportunity there. At present, we are having agricultural season, harvest will get sufficient returns. So the laborers will remain. But in future, we don't know. There will be off-peak season, whether we will get any money. So how do we address that? So the problem here is people are not aware of what kind of projects they have in future. There is uncertainty involved. So what you can do is every year you can prepare a labor budget. Every year labor budget should be prepared and it should be presented before the Gram Sabha. Labor budget will have list of the activities which are planned to be taken up in the coming year. And it should also mention at which point of the year what activity will be taken up. So what will happen? Any person in the village will come to know what are the activities planned out at what point of time. So you know in future that will get a job because these activities will be carried out. So this labor budget can handle distress migration. So apart from that, you need to create an expanded list of work. You should have a shelf of projects in place. Now when it comes to delay in payment, many times there is delay in payment. The scale of the project is huge. National level you are implementing it, all places are implementing it. So there can be delay in payments. So for that, what they are saying, you need to use digital technology, information technology should be leveraged. Have something which is called as the e-fund management system. Have management information system. What will e-fund management system do? You are having greater control over the funds at the local level. Funds are at the central level, but from the local level also you are having some control over the funds. So if you want to disburse the funds to the NREGA workers, you can have that control at the local level. This is what the e-fund management system will do. So it can reduce the delay of processing of funds from the central level to the local level. MIS, information technology, can also streamline these processes. Next, they think you should have information in the public domain. It can also lead to better transparency, public scrutiny and transparency. Many times there are leakages. Fake beneficiaries are there, or money is given to these fake beneficiaries. So if you have all the information in the public domain, these kind of leakages can be tackled. In some places, what they do in the common village walls, they will just list down the name of the NREGA beneficiary and how much money that person is getting that particular year. In villages, everyone is known to each other. So in case there is a fake beneficiary, they can point it out. So what is happening here? You are having information in the public domain, public scrutiny is there, and it is leading to better transparency. You should have better financial inclusion. People should be connected to the formal financial network. Apart from that, social audits should be there. Whether these kind of leakages is not happening, so there should be different mechanisms people can raise their voices. Performance audit should also be there. What kind of projects they have taken up, if that project is useful. So this way we can address most of the issues that NREGA faces right now. Apart from this, we can also consider converging NREGA with other schemes. We'll see that in a few minutes. This is about NREGA, the challenges because of NREGA, and how can we improve on NREGA. Next scheme, which also can empower an individual, which can also create jobs for an individual, is the National Rural Livelihood Mission, Ajivika. It is referred to as Ajivika. Now, what is this particular scheme about? What is the objective here? The aim here is to reduce poverty, to enable poor households, to ensure them access to self-employment and skill-based employment, create sustainable grassroots institutions, ensure that they have livelihood on a sustainable basis. This is the aim of Ajivika, National Rural Livelihood Mission. They are trying to reduce poverty, they are targeting poor households, they are creating both two things. One is they are promoting wage employment, that means they are providing someone skills so that that person can take up any occupation and he will get a wage in that. The other thing they are promoting self-employment. That means they are creating self-help groups. Self-help groups we have discussed in details. You can refer to the SHG section under development industry. So you are creating self-help groups, self-employment is being promoted, wage employment is being promoted. At the same time, what they are trying to do, they are creating sustainable grassroots institutions. What are these sustainable grassroots institutions? These are the self-help groups. And this is resulting in livelihood security of people, and this livelihood security is there on a sustainable basis. This is what is the aim of Ajivika or National Rural Livelihood Mission. What are some challenges? So here what we have discussed self-help groups in detail. Self-help groups are groups which consist of 10 to 20 members. These groups are not legal entities, but they are recognized. They are not a formal recognition, but they are recognized by the different financial institutions. Financial institutions provide money to self-help groups, and these provide money in the form of loans. The self-help groups can use this money to take up different income generating activities, and through these income generating activities, their life chances improves. They become socially empowered, they become economically empowered, they can also become politically empowered. So NRLM promotes self-help groups. So NRLM promotes self-employment through self-help groups. Now, what have been some issues with National Rural Livelihood Mission? Again, most of these SHGs, they are in areas which have low productivity, primary sector activities. They have not diversified themselves. They have not used a lot of technology. This particular initiative is aimed at poor households, especially women households. Women are poor households, and this SHGs target women. Women are part of SHGs primarily. And the educational attainment of women is lagging behind. Their skills are also very basic. So that is the reason they cannot take up high skill related activities. So they are all focusing on low productivity areas. Apart from that, SHG bank linkage. That means the linkage of SHGs with formal financial institution that has also been restricted. SHG needs finances, then only they can take up different income generating activity. They can pool in the resources, but they don't have sufficient money. So they need money from financial institutions. So they need to be linked with financial institutions, and this linkage has not happened uniformly throughout India. And for example, in certain states, this linkage has been strong. Not everywhere it is strong. Apart from that, even if you're linking them, these poor women, they're getting money, but they might not be having financial literacy. They don't know how to use the money. They don't know what are the different channels of utilizing the money. So before linking them, we should have gone for mobilizing them. We should have created more sustainable SHGs. Distribution of SHGs is again an issue. You'll find more SHGs in rural areas, not in urban areas, primarily because this particular scheme focuses on rural areas. Also, southern states have more number of SHGs. The bank finance, SHG bank linkage program has been more predominant in southern states. Of all the instances where SHGs have been linked with banks, 80% of those instances have been in southern states. So these are some challenges we face when it comes to this particular mission. So what can be some ways by which we can improve this particular policy which provides livelihood to so many people? We need to have a better credit cum technology package. We need to provide them credit bank linkage program, SHG bank linkage program. We need to make it stronger. Bank officials, we need to improve the rapport between bank officials, NGOs which promote SHGs. Bankers should be given some sensitization programs. Apart from that, we need to provide them technology. We need to make them technology literate. So without technology, it might be very difficult to scale up their programs. So we need to inform them about different technology options and give them awareness related to provide the basic skills how they use this technology. We need to empower these institutions. These institutions should be considered as institution in itself. Many times what happens, people just consider that it is a part-time job. They are having their regular work and for some additional income they're part of SDGs. That kind of attitude should be taken care of. That kind of attitude should not be there. SDGs should be recognized as separate institution in itself. When people are joining SDGs, they should be told that this particular SDG, when they're joining, their life can change after this. So when you're joining SDG, you should have some clarity in mind why you're joining this SDG. The SDG has a purpose. You have to create sustainable institutions. Apart from that, we need to give some support to SDGs. We need to create some incentives for them so that they're able to participate in the markets. We need to make them accessible to the markets. The connectivity to the markets should be made better. They should be able to compete on better terms in the market. Apart from that, we need to improve human resources by and large. Sanitation facilities, water facilities, drinking facilities, all these things have to be improved so that our human resource development facilities are also improved, which will go hand in hand with the program. The program cannot succeed in silos. Skill development, very important part of the scheme. Different kind of skills are required to succeed. Technological skills are one aspect. You also need soft skills. You need to have behavioral skills. You need to have managerial skills, entrepreneurial skills. All these skills, apart from the technical skills, need to be promoted to them. 12th Planning Commission, in the 12th Plan report, they had also studied this particular scheme. They found out there were some issues and they also identified those gaps and they gave some suggestions to that. They felt that this particular scheme we are having it at national level. So whatever resources we are having, we are spreading it across the country. So what is the consequence of this? The resources are being spread thin. Whatever resource we have, if you are spreading it in a large area, so each area the dispersion is very less. What they are saying, rather than going for universalization of scheme, that means everywhere you are having the scheme, go for quality implementation. Identify some areas, develop some SDGs. When they become sustainable, move to some other areas, develop some other SDGs. Universalization without quality should not be the way ahead. Identify intensive blocks, focus attention on that, develop SDGs, and move to some other place. They think we need to provide professional supports. That means trained specialist persons should come. They should go to a particular area. They should handle the SDGs. They should train them, make them sustainable. And then after that also, there should be continuous monitoring of SDGs. Trained community resource persons should be identified who will continue to monitor the SDGs. Apart from that, apart from the self-help group perspective, we also need to promote skills so that they can take up jobs in other areas also. Not necessarily everyone should start their own ventures. Some people can work in other ventures. So for that, you need to have some skills, skill them, especially for micro enterprises. So not necessarily everyone should start their own ventures. Some people can work in other ventures. So for that, you need to have some skills, skill them, especially for micro enterprises.
So these are some suggestions on how to improve on National Rural Livelihood Mission.
Next, we'll take up some more schemes. Last year, mains exam, they asked you questions related to schemes related to water, hygiene, sanitation. These schemes are also very important. They are not directly related to health, but they're part of public health. They can help in ensuring an improved health status of the population. So we'll discuss some of these schemes. First scheme related to water. What are the issues related to water? Rural drinking water, urban drinking water, and how can we address that? So drinking water, what are the different challenges we face when it comes to accessing drinking water facilities? We are having different projects. We have had different schemes to create infrastructure to supply drinking water facility, but there has been a problem of slip back. That means whatever infrastructure we are creating, after some point of time, it becomes unusable. The water table may go down, water quality may get impacted. So what has happened here is we have not done proper research and development, we have not done our homework, we have just created infrastructure, which is not sustainable in the long run. Water quality has also deteriorated. Chemical contamination of water has taken place, biological contamination of water has also taken place. Chemical contamination, for example, geogenic leaching from the ground, arsenic poisoning, fluoride poisoning. Sometimes bacteria can also be present in water. So water quality has also gone down, which also impacts the availability, accessibility, utilization of water. We are having projects at different points, but they are not properly maintained. Government has created some schemes, they have created facilities, but how do we maintain that? Maintenance has not been there. And because of lack of maintenance, again, these projects get impacted. So, and if it is not properly maintained, it will not be used again. Stakeholders do not have the sense of ownership. Apart from this, there are reports that when it comes to common water facilities, certain sections of the population are still excluded. For example, scheduled tribe members might not be allowed to access these facilities. They are discriminated against. These are some problems when it comes to drinking water facility. What can be some solutions to that? We can find out some ways to address these problems. For example, we need to have more drinking water facilities. How do we create these facilities? We can have convergence of NREGA with this particular scheme, the National Rural Drinking Water Project. So under NREGA, they are creating drinking water infrastructure. So both we are successful in meeting our water security targets, drinking water targets. At the same time, workers are also getting paid for doing something which is useful. So try to converge NREGA with National Rural Drinking Water Project. Also, you can find out ways by which you can converge this particular scheme with the sanitation projects. You have to ensure that the sanitation projects and the source of drinking water facility, they are not close to each other, or else meteorological contamination can take place. You can also converge National Rural Drinking Water Project with Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. That means schools, each and every school should have access to basic drinking water facility. Distance should be maintained between toilet systems and water resources. Distance should also be maintained between areas where mining is taking place and water resources to prevent geogenic leaching. We can identify or we can create some model projects, habitat improvement projects, and we can replicate that. Some projects which have the best of habitat. They have all the basic facilities, water facilities, sanitation facilities, and how we can do that. Identify a project and replicate it at large level. One of the problems always maintenance is not happening, so we need to include stakeholders. Beneficiaries should also be included. They should also participate in the process. So they should also take the role in maintaining these projects. This way, we can improve on the drinking water facilities, the issues that we are having related to drinking water. Another associated issue is the issue of sanitation. Water and sanitation play a very significant role in the health status of the population. If clean drinking water is not there, if proper sanitation facility is not there, high prevalence of different kind of diseases, especially these waterborne diseases. Now, when it comes to sanitation, what are the challenges we face? And what can be some possible solution to these challenges? So, in sanitation, at present in India, what problem is there? There is this continued prevalence of open defecation. India is a country which has the largest number of population which is defecating in the open. According to NSSO, more than 50% of our population defecate in the open. The most alarming fact here is there are many families which have toilets but they still defecate in the open. So somewhere there is this problem with the society as well. That pollution purity principle which we had discussed in the beginning, that also comes into play. People feel toilets are impure, so we need to segregate it. Toilets should not be within the household, or you should defecate in the open. So more than 58% used to defecate in the open in 2008. Now also recent surveys also point out that more than 50% population defecate in the open. What is the issue here? Again, the same thing that we saw when it comes to water drinking water facility. Here also we have the issue of slip back. Toilets have been constructed, but different factors have not been taken into consideration. Also sometimes toilets have not been fully constructed. Half construction and they have been left. Sometimes toilets are constructed but we do not have water facilities. So not availability of water. Apart from that, when we are constructing toilets, we also need to focus on research and development. What is research and development? See, toilets need not necessarily be of one type. There can be different type of toilet. And again, depending on the hydrological conditions, depending on the geographical conditions, climate conditions, social conditions, we can have different type of toilets. So these factors need to be taken into consideration when we are constructing a toilet in a particular locality. But it is not taken up, and because of which again we lose out. So if, for example, geographical conditions should be taken into consideration to prevent water pollution. If the water table is very shallow, it can lead to contamination of water. Similarly, many times we do not consider the social conditions, it can lead to non-acceptance by local communities. For example, if you are constructing western toilets in rural areas, they might not accept it. So these factors need to be taken into consideration when you are having sanitation facilities. Now, what can be some of the solutions to improve on the present issue related to sanitation? Again, here we need to focus on quality. You should not go for universalization without quality. You should not spread your resources thin. Output is important, but what is more important is outcome. We have had people having toilet facility, but they're not using it. So we have to move to a situation in which they are utilizing these toilet facilities. So outcome is utilization of toilet. We have to ensure that should be the final goal. As I said before, we can converge NREGA with many of these schemes. Converge sanitation with NREGA. NREGA workers can be trained to construct toilets. So productive assets are being created at the same time sanitation issues are being resolved. We need to have more research and development. We need to find out different type of toilet designs as per the hydrology, as per the geography, as per the climate conditions. Drinking water and sanitation projects, conversion has to be there. That means we need to maintain distance between these projects. Sanitation projects and drinking water resource, they should be separated by a distance. Have to ensure that running water facility is there. If running water facility is not there, these kind of unit set up toilet facilities will not be used. Different kind of projects have to be constructed depending on who it is targeted to. Child-friendly toilets are required in Anganwadis and schools. At schools, at the level of Anganwadi, Asha workers, they should try to inculcate certain good practices related to sanitation. For example, washing your hands after defecation, washing your hands before eating food. All these things should be part of school curriculum. This can prevent prevalence of different diseases because of lack of proper hygiene practices. We need to focus on liquid and solid waste management. More technology, more R&D related to this. This can handle different issues related to sanitation. So different challenges related to sanitation can be handled through these mechanisms. Now, another key challenge that we face is the problem of housing. Huge section of our population does not have access to basic housing facilities. They do not have a roof on their head. So what are the problems specific to housing? See, we have had different schemes for construction of house. Right now also we are having a scheme, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Before that we had the Awas Yojana, Rajiv Awas Yojana. Despite that, many problems are there. One prominent problem is houses have been created, but they are not linked with basic amenities. You are creating a standalone house, but electricity, water facility, connectivity to the neighborhoods, those things are not there. So convergence of housing with other amenities needs to be taken into consideration. In case of India, continued problem of houselessness we have faced. In urban areas itself, some 0.9 million people do not have shelter, and 65 million people in urban areas, they stay in different kinds of slums. So homelessness, poor quality of housing, that is a challenge. Apart from that, when it comes to providing financial support to construct houses, that has also been inadequate. Different schemes like Awas Yojana, they also talk about providing finances, but the amount of money that is given is not very high. And apart from that, another challenge is you give money for construction of house, but sometimes people might not even be having the basic land on which they can construct the house. So landlessness can also be a hindrance to availing housing. The money that is allocated, there is a lot of delay in that. Sometimes that is provided in phases. So you have constructed half a house, and then you are waiting for the next amount of finance to receive. So in case of India, you might have observed, you will see a lot of houses which are unfinished because of delayed payments. Apart from that, we do not have sufficient information knowledge about different kinds of technology. We have not focused on developing new technologies for different kinds of housing. R&D related housing sector has also been restricted. Stakeholders' participation is also limited. If stakeholders are more educated, they hold the public institutions accountable, but that is also lacking. Now, what we can do to improve on this? Finances are important. Greater financial support is required. Even if greater financial support is not there, we have to ensure at least delays are not there. And one way by which we can restrict this delay is through e-fund management system. Greater control over the fund at the local level. Everything is centralized. Because of centralization, there is delays. E-fund management system can reduce these delays. Another issue we face is the issue of landlessness. We need to have schemes mechanisms in place which can increase poor's ability or poor's access to land. Land reforms, we might consider that. How do we improve the quality of houses? See, for improving quality, one factor is we need to have payment on time. Apart from that, we need to have access to information. What kind of information? For example, in particular areas, let's say that areas disaster prone, the quality of house will get impacted because of these continuous disaster. For example, in a place where there are continuous floods. So if you are constructing a house, it will be flooded. And again, because of flooding, the quality of infrastructure will get impacted. So we need to have more information. What kind of information, what kind of technology, the solutions we have to this. And accordingly, we construct a building. So you need to identify low cost technology, you need to find out environment friendly technology, you need to find out disaster resilient technology. Apart from that, local cultural differences, they are also important. So all these factors we need to take into consideration when we are providing housing. Apart from this, we need to identify some partners. Civil society, self-help groups can play an important role. NGOs, self-help groups, they might be involved in production of different kind of building materials. They might be involved in promotion of different technology. They might be involved in promotion of housing finances. So partner with these organizations. They can also help in improving the quality of housing. They can also help in availability of housing. They can also help in accessibility of housing. So housing related issues, how can we resolve them? Now another dimension here, the different social security schemes that we have. We have a national social assistance plan under which social security is provided. What do we mean by social security? Some sections of our population are very vulnerable. They might not be able to take care of themselves. So again, these people, they need to be provided some protection. So we are providing some sort of financial protection to these people. Some people who are more vulnerable. So we have a welfare state. Welfare state is addressing their issues to some extent. Who are these vulnerable people? Those who are elderly, those who are disabled, or those families which have lost their near or dear ones or their primary breadwinner. So we have different social security schemes, and all these schemes come under National Social Assistance Plan. So we have Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. So those who are elderly, those who are over the age of 60, they get some amount of pension. Again, with age, this quantum of pension increases. Those who are over the age of 80, this amount is more 500 rupees. Those who are in the age category 60 to 70 years, it is 400 rupees per month. Similarly, widows, they are provided some pension. So those who are in the age category 40 to 59, who have lost their husband, they are provided 300 rupees per month. Those who are having some form of disability, they are also covered under this pension scheme. A person in the age category 80 to 59 years, having severe or multiple disabilities, gets 300 rupees per month. In case there is a family which lost its primary breadwinner, so the economic security of the family is getting impacted now. So they are given a lump sum amount of 20,000 rupees. In case some elderly is not covered under Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme, that person can be covered under Annapurna Scheme. What happens under Annapurna Scheme? 10 kg of food grain is provided per month to that person. Okay. So, but condition is it cannot be covered under both the schemes. So under National Social Assistance Plan, all these things are carried out. Now we look at certain policies for urban areas. One of the challenges in urban area is the issue of urban transport. Now what is the problem with urban transport? In urban areas, population density has increased significantly. The urban infrastructure has not increased, or it has not been able to keep pace with the population density. So what has happened? Because of this, there is a lot of congestion in urban areas. This impacts urban transport. And because of this congestion, the speed of the transport, it has decreased significantly. There was a study which pointed out that the speed of movement of vehicles in Bangalore in 9 years has become one-fourth, 35 kilometers per hour to 10 kilometers per hour. And apart from this, there is so speed has decreased, which can impact productivity. Organizations can get impacted. People are working in organizations, they get impacted. People themselves can get impacted. It can also lead to different kind of health issues as well as mental health issues, physical as well as mental health issues. Because the traffic is not flowing at a smooth rate, what will happen? Fuel consumption can be more. Environment also gets impacted because of greater pollution. So a lot of issues related to urban transport. That is the reason we need to have some reforms in urban transport. We had a national urban transport policy. It said that the policy or the focus of the urban transport policy should be on moving people rather than moving vehicles. That means more number of vehicles that we should not be promoting. We should be promoting movement of people. Less number of vehicles, but more people can be transported. For example, promoting different public transport systems. So what we can do to reform urban transport? So one suggestion is there that we need to promote rail-based mass transport. Rail-based mass urban transport. We need to create a separate institution which can do this. Apart from that, we need to have better connection of the core of the city with the periphery. So generally, the cities will have a core. Core will have the major part of the business functions, and people from different parts of the city come to this core to ensure that the core and the periphery is linked with fast, efficient transport system. Now, what can you do about the pollution that is happening because so many vehicles are coming up on the roads? And it said that in between 2012 and 2021, the number of vehicles on the road will increase by 3 times. So this amount of pollution that can also increase significantly. So one suggestion is given that we should have a polluter pay principle. That means some sort of tax should be imposed on vehicles, and if it is polluting more, the amount of tax that has to be paid is more. Singapore is one of those countries which charges a very high rate of these kind of taxes. And again, if you charge these kind of taxes, what will happen? It will also motivate people or incentivize people to take up public transport, and they will not be preferring their own private transport. Apart from that, we should have mechanisms or we should promote both non-motorized transport. That means we should have separate lanes which will promote bicycles. These kind of things has to be promoted, and it is very suitable for certain places. Not everywhere it is applicable because non-motorized transport, for example, cycling is promoting. Then cycling might not be convenient in every place. You need to have better weather conditions for that. Good weather conditions for that. So identify places where you can have it and promote that. Apart from that, we need to use digital technology. It can help you understand the congestion patterns. We also need to have more public-private partnership to develop different kind of infrastructure in urban areas. So we need to improve on urban transport. These are some suggestions on how to improve it. Another challenge we face in urban areas is the issue of water supply. So 74% of the households in urban areas get supply water, but again, they do not get 24/7 water supply. They will get the supply for some in the morning or the evening. So what happens in this case? There are phases when the pipe which is supplying water, it has a vacuum. If there is a crack, this vacuum can suck in pollutants and which gets delivered to the households. So polluted water, quality of water is also a question. Apart from that, there are many smaller areas, smaller towns, other areas which do not even have water supply. They are depending on other ways to get water. So water issue is a problem. We need to ensure universalization of water supply. Apart from that, we have to reduce unaccounted water. What is unaccounted water? This is that amount of water which is not accounted for. It has this is that amount of water which has been lost because of different kinds of leakages. So we need to reduce that. We lose around 40 to 50% of our water in leakages. We need to go for metering of water supply. 100% metering of water supply in urban areas. You need to pay for water. Again, here, you might have a question why we should pay for water. Isn't water a basic necessity? But think of it like this. In case you're not paying for water, what happens? It creates negative incentives. People waste water. At the same time, the water facilities, the water supply boards, they find it difficult to raise money to maintain the water supply infrastructure. So if you are paying for water, these bodies will get some money. With this money, we are able to maintain the water infrastructure facilities. At the same time, people will not waste water. Conservation of water will be there. But here also, not necessarily everyone has to pay. What you can do, you can find some rational way of charging people. Till a particular extent, it is free. Beyond that, you have to pay. And again, you need to find out this thing, how much amount of water a person ideally requires. This requirement will also increase with some months. So all these factors taken into consideration and come up with that number. These many liters of water available for you. Of course, if you're going beyond that, you have to pay. So it is not going against the interest of the poor as well. Apart from that, when it comes to water, the distribution is not uniform throughout the country. There is disparities. We need to find out ways to address that disparity. There is a lot of cost involved because of losses in supply and distribution. We need to address that. Apart from this, we need to replenish our local water resources. Groundwater should be replenished. You should find out ways like rainwater harvesting. Some places in India, they're making it mandatory that you should have rainwater harvesting. If mandatory is not there, you should at least incentivize households to harvest the rainwater. It can lead to improvement in the groundwater table position. So these are some solutions to the water supply crisis that we have right now. Now, another problem that we see in urban area is the issue of solid waste management. In different parts of the city, you will observe there are different landfills filled with different types of garbage. Now, what are the problems because of which, and how can we address that? In case of India and most of the cities, waste is not segregated. So if waste is not segregated, what happens? It becomes very difficult to treat it later on. Apart from that, many of these municipal bodies, they do not have sufficient funds to go for different technology to segregate waste. They do not have technical expertise. They do not have institutional arrangement to manage waste. And also, these kind of activities, they're not very grandiose. So urban local bodies are not generally willing to take up these kind of activities, handling waste. They would rather prefer to inaugurate some other basic infrastructure. Maybe they have created a foot overbridge. They would prefer to do that, a road facility. Waste again, not considered grandiose. Maybe that's the reason they're not willing to take up these things. There is a problem at the level of the community and the level of the citizens. Community participation of citizens in this process is also lagging behind. Community also might be indifferent to all these things. They might not be taking up segregation of waste. So all these things creates hindrance when it comes to solid waste management. How can we improve on it? We need to have mandatory door-to-door waste collection. Awareness needs to be raised. How you should segregate the waste. Whether it should be on the basis of two category dry waste, wet waste, or multiple categories. Dry waste, wet waste, sometimes biological waste also. Some countries like Germany, they classify waste into 6 different categories. So if you classify into so many categories, that means you are having now specialized technology to address each of these categories. So waste management will be even more effective and efficient. Awareness of education, awareness of households, municipality, that also needs to be taken into consideration. This is the most important part here. You can have technology, but if people are not participating, the process will not be successful. Apart from that, we need to find out a way by which you should charge people who are polluting. Polluter play principle, those who are polluting more should pay more. This thing should be identified. And some mechanism should be found out by which you are charging people for polluting. And again, the amount of money you collect from this, you can fund different solid waste management activities. So this is about solid waste management. So till now, we covered different issues related to how to create livelihood for people, what are the policies we have, what are the challenges. We also saw some policies related to sanitation, some policies related to drinking water, some policies related to waste management. We also saw housing policies. So broadly, these are some of the basic development policies that we have. Apart from this, we will have policies when it comes to health, when it comes to education, skill development, and urban development. All these things will be taken up in details when we discuss health, education, skill development, and urban development. For example, in health sector, we discuss what are the basic problems, what has been the different approach. And in recent times, we have also drafted a national health policy to take care of that. There is also a plan of moving towards universal health coverage. Everyone will be covered under healthcare. So we will see that in details when we discuss health will be taken up separately. Apart from this, we'll take up education separately. In education also, there have been different policies at the level of primary education, at the level of higher education, at the level of R&D education. So different policies have been there. What have been some of the impacts of these policies? What have been some shortcomings? All these things we'll address there. In skill development also, different policy approaches we'll study that in detail. We'll take it up separately. Urban development, how urban development is carried out. in the section urbanization, it covers all these aspects. What reforms are required for urbanization? Governance reforms, financial reforms, planning reforms, reforms related to capacity building and innovation. So development policies will include these policies as well: health, education, skill development, urban development policies. So this is about the development policy section of your syllabus, general studies paper 2. But keep in mind, this can be asked in different ways. And again, there is a huge overlap with current affairs. So keep on reading newspapers, keep on reading magazines, keep following whatever is happening around you related to these sectors. If you come across something new, just add to whatever we have studied. So this is about development policies. Thank you.
Hi friends, the next topic that we are going to talk about is about science and technology education, and it is also related to girls' education. We're going to talk about the Vigyan Jyoti program. So what is this Vigyan Jyoti program? What is the objective behind it? Which is the ministry? Which is the board ministry here? All those things we're trying to learn. And one thing I wanted to make it clear itself, that this particular discussion that we're having is more relevant from the prelims perspective. Because you might get a question about the scheme, about the objective of the scheme, what are the intended beneficiaries, what is the nodal ministry. From mains examination perspective, I don't think there will be a question which only talks about this. Right? You generally have broader, larger questions, analytical questions in the mains examination. So let's see what this particular program is all about. So this particular program, it is not new. It has been there in the past as well. Thus that the second phase of this program was recently launched. February 11 is recognized as the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. So on this particular day, 2021, the second phase of this program was launched. But what exactly is this program about? What do you mean by Vigyan Jyoti program? Now, the idea behind this particular program is girls should be encouraged to take up careers in science, technology, engineering, and maths. At present, if you look at international level data, if you look at national level data, you will not find sufficient representation of women in these fields, science, technology, engineering, maths. So that is the reason this particular program is trying to change that at least at the national level. What they're trying to do is they want to encourage girls to pursue careers, to have interest in science, so that later on they will pursue careers along these lines, they will build their careers along these lines. And again, this particular program is not everything in one go. Rather, they are identifying some targets. So initially they had identified 50 districts. From these 50 districts, they were trying to find out girls who would be interested in the disciplines of science. This year they have added 50 more districts. Right? So the second phase will spread the program for encouraging girls to take interest in science, build career in STEM to 15 more districts. Already 50 districts were added. So let's look at this program in more details. This program has been launched by Department of Science and Technology. Can be relevant if you are, from the prelims perspective, these kinds of nuances are important. What is the objective? The objective is to create a gender-enabling science and technology ecosystem and to inculcate scientific empowerment among girls. Right? So we are creating a gender-enabling science and technology ecosystem. What is the meaning of this? The science and technology ecosystem that you have right now, it is primarily men-dominated. You don't have sufficient representation of women. And if you don't have sufficient representation of women, right, so it becomes difficult to attract more women. And at the same time, right, so there might be different kind of biases within that entire ecosystem. So if you have more women participation, these biases can be taken care of. And also you need to question why you don't have sufficient women, right? If in the entire population you have almost 50-50 split, why in the science and technology ecosystem it is not equal? So somewhere there is some discrimination or there is some issues. So this is one of those ways by which you are trying to correct. Apart from that, you are trying to promote scientific environment, which is also equally important. As a society, we might not have enough of this, we need more of this. So that way also this particular program is important. The idea here is to tap 100 girl students in 550 districts by 2025, and girls who are in the grades class standards 9 to 12, they are the one who are covered. And the overall, over the long term, the idea here is you are encouraging interest among girls for these disciplines. So eventually they will be building up careers, they will be pursuing different career opportunities in the STEM disciplines in different premier institutions in the country. How is this being carried out? Right? So few things. One is some form of online academic support is being provided, helping with different kind of videos, providing different kind of video lectures, study materials, daily practice problems, outreach sessions, all these things are organized. Apart from that, student-parent counseling activities are taken up. Girls are encouraged to visit different kind of labs, different knowledge centers. They can also participate in different science camps. Tinkering activities are promoted. Tinkering activities means those kind of activities which can tinker your imagination basically. You look at things from a different angle maybe. You're free to explore a different dimension. So those kind of things. Some form of academic support, different kind of resources are provided. Right? So these are all different features of the Vigyan Jyoti program. Right? So sometimes you might be given some options that these are there, and the question might be whether these are all part of the Vigyan Jyoti program. So from the perspective, these kind of things might be relevant. So this is about the Vigyan Jyoti program. So keep it in mind for the prelims exam. Now let's try to solve one question. So which of the following statements regarding Vigyan Jyoti program are correct? It is launched by the Ministry of Education. It covers all children in the grades 9 to 12. So choose the correct option. What do you think? You can take 60 seconds to answer this. You can analyze both alternatives, both options, and you can answer it. You can pause the video for the moment. Now let's look at both options. Has it been launched by the Ministry of Education? In the beginning itself, I mentioned that it has been launched by the Ministry of Science and Technology. Does it cover all children in the age category 6 to 12? No, it covers only girl children. Right? So both the statements are incorrect. So the answer is neither one or two. Right? So I hope all of you have got it correct. But in case you have not, then you have to reflect what all you are missing out. So this is about the Vigyan Jyoti program. Thank you. So the next topic that we'll take up is related to management of human resources. We're going to talk about something which is relevant for our human resources, for job creation as well as for skill development. We're going to talk about Saksham, Shramik Shakti Manch. So what is the context and how this will be relevant? This is one topic might be more important from the prelims perspective as compared to mains perspective. So you might get a question on what is Saksham, which is the organization behind it, what is the larger goal here. So what is the context? Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council, in fact, it launched an initiative called as Saksham. It stands for Shramik Shakti Manch. Now what is the idea behind it? What is exactly Saksham? This is something that we need to just focus on. So this Saksham is nothing but a job portal. It's a dynamic job portal. And this job portal maps the skill of Shramiks with the requirements of micro, small, medium enterprises. So basically, this is a job portal just like any other job portal, which will have different candidates who are potential employees for different micro, small, medium enterprises, and they can get placed in different micro, small, medium enterprises. So through this particular platform, and the idea here is to ensure placement of some 10 lakh blue collar workers. So that's the main idea behind it. Right? So it's a job portal. Now, how will it work? What is it all about? Saksham is a dynamic portal for jobs. It maps the skill of workers, Shramiks, with the requirements of micro, small, medium enterprises and other industries for the country. And this has been launched by TIFAC, Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council. And it uses different kinds of technology like different algorithms, artificial intelligence, so that different kinds of spatial information of demand and availability is taken into consideration. Right? And also there are mechanisms for analysis on skill training programs of Shramiks. So again, it can be a mechanism for upskilling some of the workers. It can be used for upskilling the workers. So this is how the Saksham looks like. And what are the features? It is something which is going to provide opportunities for the workers as well as MSMEs. Now, how it is going to provide opportunities for both MSMEs? They require skilled professionals for their operations, for their expansion, for their profitability. They might not be able to find out the right kind of skilled workers required for their enterprises. So the MSMEs can possibly now have access to a larger pool of talent. How it is going to benefit the Shramiks? Maybe they're not able to find out the right kind of jobs, right? So maybe they're not able to find out where are the different openings. So their platform can help in this. Next thing, what is the advantage? What is the key feature? 10 lakh blue collar jobs will be created, which is a good number. And there will be direct connect between the Shramiks and the MSMEs. There will not be any middleman involved, right? So when it comes to the informal sector, there are chances that there will be involvement of middlemen, and again, all these things increases the transaction cost. So here the transaction costs are being minimized. And also it can help in minimizing migration of Shramiks. They can possibly avail job opportunities nearby. Migration itself is not harmful, but when people are migrating out of distress because they're not finding any opportunity, there is already an opportunity, but they're not able to find it because information is not there. Right? So those kind of distress migration can be taken care of, right? So that whatever information is not there, you're able to access that information now. So this is how the Saksham looks like. These are the key features. Now, what about IFAC? It is an autonomous organization. It is an organization set up under the Department of Science and Technology. Its main aim is to look ahead in technology domain. Its main aim is to access what kind of technological trajectories will be there, and it has to support innovation, right? So all those things which are relevant for the nation, it needs to focus on that. So it has been doing that, has been leveraging technology for different means. It's trying to promote innovation. This is one of the things that IFAC has come up with to connect MSMEs with the right kind of desired skill set. So this is about Saksham and IFAC. It again might be asked in prelims, but from mains examination perspective, might not be as relevant. Now, so this is all that I wanted to cover. We'll just look at the question. But before that, I want you to analyze, and this is kind of homework for you. Now, when it comes to formal jobs, you have different kinds of job portals, and not necessarily they're being run by the government, right? Mostly they're run by private enterprises, right? Think of Naukri.com or Monster Jobs. There are so many of them. Also, you have social networking websites for jobs. LinkedIn is an example of that. Right? So when it comes to these kind of jobs, you don't need the government to intervene. But when it comes to certain kinds of jobs, maybe let's say the blue collar jobs that Saksham is claiming to create, right? Why do you need government intervention? Maybe you can think of it. Why we have not had any private sector intervention? Why private sector has not come up with these kind of portals? And if private sector is able to come up with these kind of portals and it is equally effective, then we don't need the government to pitch in here. So I would want to end this part, apart from the question. I want you to think on these lines. Is it something that is it something that the government should do? Because if the government is good at doing these kind of things, then maybe the government should also consider having a portal for other kinds of jobs, right? But government doesn't do that. There are so many private players who are doing the job really well, right? So what would have been the reason? Is it actually needed, or maybe there's a possibility of private sector coming up with these things? So this is something that you can further explore, you can further think. But let's go to the question for this particular topic. Which of the following portal launched by TIFAC to map the skills of labor with industry requirements? Shramik, MSME Mitra, Shramik Shakti Manch, Job C. This is something which is kind of straightforward, so I don't think you should take much time on it. The answer is Shramik Shakti Manch, right? So I hope all of you would have got it correct, given that we started with this and we have been talking about it. Right, so that's it from my end. I would request you to think about the question that I posted. Thank you. Hi friends, welcome to one more session of current affairs on social issues. The next topic is Oxfam Inequality Index. So why it was in the news? What is this index all about? How is this index computed? And where does India stand in terms of this index? All these things we are going to take up in the next few minutes. Small topic, mostly relevant from the prelims perspective, but some of the factors that we talk about which can help arrive at this index can be relevant in answering some questions in mains examination, questions which are related to poverty and inequality. So let's get started. Recently, in a written reply to a question in Lok Sabha, the Labour and Employment Minister said that the rank India was assigned as per the index is not clear. The method that was used to arrive at this index is not clear. So this is what the minister replied to a question which was asked in Lok Sabha. So let's try to understand the index first, and then try to understand where India stands, what is India's rank. Let's try to understand the methodology that has been public as per the report. So this index is called Oxfam Commitment to Reducing Inequality Index, CRI. Oxfam Commitment to Reducing Inequality. It's a joint project of Oxfam International and Development Finance International, and they have ranked 158 countries on their commitment to reducing inequality. Right? So which country is more committed to reduce inequality? That will be at the top. Those countries which are not as committed to reducing inequality will be at the bottom. But now the question is, how do you find out which country is more committed to reducing inequality? Or what are those factors that can help us understand whether this country is willing to reduce poverty or not, is committed to reduce poverty or not? So what they're doing is they're taking three factors into consideration. Three factors which can possibly give us some idea. First of all, public services, which include health, education, social protection. Then taxation, then workers' right. These three things they are taken into consideration. Now, how these three things, public services, taxation, workers' right, can help us understand a country's commitment to reducing inequality. Let's understand each of this. Public services, health, education, social protection. Now, in any economy, if people have access to health care, people have access to education, what will happen? The chances of they being deprived will be less. See, poverty, one of the reasons why people end up in poverty is because there is this concept of vicious cycle of poverty. People get trapped in that vicious cycle. Right? If let's say people do not have access to education, what happens? Over a period of time, they will not develop the right kind of skills. And if they're not developing the right kind of skills, they will not be gainfully employed. So if someone is poor, doesn't have access to education, will remain poor. Think about health. If someone does not have access to health, if there's a kid who's not having access to the right kind of healthcare institutions, healthcare mechanisms, or the public health condition is not good. There are different kinds of diseases out there. Hygiene condition is not good. Sanitation condition is not good. Drinking water facility is not there. Nutrition levels are not good. What will happen? The child will most likely suffer from different kinds of deficiency diseases. Cognitive development will not happen. Physical development will not happen. And as a result of which, the child's participation in different kinds of activities will get hampered. Might not be able to regularly attend school. Absenteeism will be high. Dropout rates will also increase. And all these things will have a bearing on the economy. Public services are available. These things. What will happen? Those who are at the bottom, they can move up the social hierarchy. There will be social mobility. But if these services are not there, social protection, health, education, social protection is basically a safeguard. Right? If something happens to you, the state is going to take care of you. If there's a disability, then the state will provide some form of disability insurance, maybe, or pension, maybe. If someone is becoming a widow, so again, the state might pitch in. If for some reason you're losing out your job, there is some form of cushion. Social protection takes care of that. So if all these provisions, mechanisms are there, then people will move up the social hierarchy. There will be economic upliftment. And even if people are falling down, there is some form of social safeguards. So these kind of services reduce the inequality level. Second thing, taxation. What kind of tax design you have? Right? So those who are at the bottom, they might require some form of handholding. They might require some form of protection. So for them, there has to be different kind of policies. Right? Some safeguards have to be there, which ensures that these services and other things are provided. But how do you get money for that? You can get money from taxes. Right? If progressive taxation is there, those who are wealthier, from them maybe you can get higher taxes, and it can be provided to people at the bottom. And it's not just about just taxing the rich people. Even if you have a mechanism in which the efficiency is better, right? Loopholes are less. Whatever taxes you are collecting, it is going to the people. Administrative costs are less, transaction costs are less. So efficient mechanism is there. Then also, you will be able to provide the right kind of services to the people, deliver to the people, and inequality can be taken care of, can be reduced. And third thing, they're saying, just measure how much rights have been provided to the workers. How worker rights and commitment to reducing inequality, how are they linked with one another? Now, inequality means concentration of wealth among the top, and then there are a lot of people who do not have any resources. See, people at the bottom, one of the reasons why they might not have sufficient resources is maybe they do not have sufficient bargaining power. So they are not able to command the right kind of wages from the market. So why the bargaining power is missing? Maybe they are not provided different kinds of rights. Maybe they are not able to form unions. Maybe they are not able to form associations. Maybe they do not have the rights to go and protest or participate in different kind of other activities. Right? So if workers' rights are protected, then that individual worker who was not that powerful is now able to form networks with other workers. They can all come together and they can demand better wages, not just wages. They can demand better work conditions. They can demand social protection, etc. All these things can move their position, uplift their position from where they are to somewhere here. So as a result of it, whatever inequality was there, it is now going down. So all these three factors can have a role to play. Now let's see, where does India stand in terms of these three things? These three parameters. As per the index, India ranked 129 overall in the CRA index out of 158 all countries. So again, it's not among the top, it's among the bottom. India ranked 141 in terms of public services. And would you agree with it? I mean, I don't think there is much divergence, right, when it comes to all these services, health, education, social protection. Definitely we are not among the top. And some of these things, by the way, you can measure from other indexes, like human development index and other things. They also do not perform well. So there also our rank is like that. So when it comes to public services, 141 out of 158 all countries might not be surprising. What about workers' rights? Again, it is ranked 151. In terms of taxation, India is doing well. It's ranked 90. So this is how it looks like. Apart from that, what have been some other findings? So what are some of the interesting findings in this report? So what they're saying is, the poorest among the poor, they are the ones who are worst affected. Right? So if you have inequality, like those who are at the bottom, they are finding it very difficult. Why? See, first of all, they are extremely vulnerable. Let's say if one of them gets infected, one in the family gets affected, they might not have sufficient space to isolate themselves. So the other members, they can't protect themselves. So the chance of the virus spreading from one person to another is extremely high. Right? So just think of someone who's staying in an apartment or in a bungalow. They might have multiple rooms. If one person has the virus, that person can stay in one room and others can protect themselves from the person who's infected, but that's not the case here. Apart from that, poor people do not necessarily have good health. Most likely they will be having poor health conditions. They might have different kind of deficiency diseases, they might not have access to the right kind of nutrition, access to the facilities. So all this makes them much more susceptible to mortality. On top of that, another hardship they're facing is the economic hardship. Right? As countries had COVID, India also had COVID. So different countries approached it in different manner. Right? They came up with their own policy interventions. Right? One of the most commonly used policy intervention was lockdowns and containment measures. In India also that was the case. So what is happening? Because of these containment measures, lockdowns, different kinds of economic activity, they are just being shut down. Right? Those economic activities are not happening. So those who are at the bottom, most likely they might not have sufficient savings with them. They might not have that amount of economic freedom. They might not, and they're extremely vulnerable. They're leading precarious lives. So they're losing out jobs. Some of them are having wage cuts. All these things is again leading to huge levels of hunger and hardship. Now, as per this report,
Nigeria, Bahrain, India are at the bottom when it comes to tackling inequality going into the pandemic. So Nigeria, Bahrain, India are among the worst performers. Who are the best performers? Norway, Denmark, Germany. These countries, they have done really well in tackling inequality during the pandemic. So now, why some concerns have been raised in India? Now, India is ranked 151 in terms of workers' rights, and it slipped from 141 in 2018. Right. So that's the reason the minister concerned is saying that it's not correct. It might not be correct, given that India came up with new labor codes recently. Right. So if there are new labor codes, then India is actually doing certain things, right, to improve the position of labor. Then why have you put India at the bottom? Right? Why its ranking is going down? Now, the minister might have some substance to it. He has valid argument here, right? But also keep one thing in mind that when you are initiating any law, right, it is an intention, right? You have just brought about a law, you have announced a law, but the law might take some time to get implemented. And again, after implementation, right, it might take some time to show results. So maybe that is one of the reasons why India's ranking in terms of worker rights has not changed. Right? Whenever you are announcing something, immediately things don't change on the ground. Right? So two, three things you have to keep in mind. One is input, one is output, one is outcome. Through laws, you are changing the inputs maybe, right? And you are aiming to achieve something. So when you are announcing the law, you are just changing the inputs, or you are adding some inputs, or you are decreasing the inputs. But it takes some time to reflect results, that is outputs. And again, outputs over a period of time will lead to the desired outcome. Right? So not necessarily inputs always translate into outputs, and not necessarily outputs will always lead to better outcomes. All these things you have to keep in mind. So this equally applies here. Maybe we have just changed the laws, but we don't. Maybe we'll take some time to see the results. And when we get the results, maybe our performance, our ranking will change. Now this input output outcome, I can give you a very easy example. Input can be, let's an example of the education sector. Right? Input can be the amount of money you are investing in education. Output can be the gross enrollment ratio, right? How many kids are getting enrolled in schools. Outcome can be what is their performance, what are the learning outcomes, whether they're able to do what they're supposed to do. So you might pump in money. It can lead to better outputs. Right? But spending money, maybe it will lead to higher enrollment. But does that necessarily guarantee that kids' learning levels will improve? May not be the case, right? Multiple factors are there. Only money might not change things. And also, maybe only providing money might not also improve the enrollment ratio sometimes. Right? So all these things are linked with one another. So the thing is, at present, we have just initiated the laws or announced the laws. It might take some time to reflect. So just criticizing the methodology might not be completely correct. So this is about the CRI, Oxfam's CRI. Let's look at one question. Which of the following statements regarding Oxfam commitment to reducing inequality index is correct? It is a joint project of Oxfam International and Development Finance International. It ranks countries in the field of public services, taxation, and workers' rights. So choose the correct option. One only, two only, both one and two, neither one and two. So you can pause the screen, you can think about both options, and then you can answer it. It can take 30 seconds for this. So let's see both the alternatives. Let's try to evaluate. It's a joint project of Oxfam International and Development Finance International. We already talked about it, right? It's correct. It ranks countries in the field of public services, taxation, and workers' rights. That's also correct. So the answer is both one and two. Right. So this is about the commitment to reducing inequality index and the factors that have been taken into consideration to arrive at the index, and also India's performance along these lines, and what are some of the reasons why this particular index is relevant. So with this, we'll conclude this session. Thank you.